Hi, and welcome to AI Script to Screen, a podcast dedicated to exploring the very latest ways artificial intelligence is affecting every aspect of healthcare communications. Some episodes will be my own reflections and thoughts based on my commercial experience, while others will feature guest appearances from leading voices across the healthcare industry. Traction through clarity, scaling digital health communication. Now, there's a curious paradox in digital health. The technology becomes more sophisticated every year. The user's patience does not. More than 200 healthcare apps are launched every day. Wearables evolve, algorithms refine, platforms update features and rapid release cycles. Founders talk about optimization, data capture, behavioral nudges, personalized dashboards, and yet the decisive moment for most users happens within seconds. They download the app, they open it, and they ask, does this make sense? Does this feel trustworthy? Does this feel like it understands me? If the answer is unclear, they leave. Traction in digital health is rarely lost because of a lack of innovation. It's lost because of a lack of clarity. Healthcare has become personal in a way it never was before. Responsibility has shifted toward the individual. People track sleep, glucose, heart rate, mood, calories, steps, recovery, stress. They invest not just money, but identity onto these platforms. Now that creates an unusual burden for digital health companies. You're not simply launching software, you're entering someone's life. An entry requires trust. From a behavioral psychology perspective, trust is built through comprehension. When people understand how something works, they feel more in control. And when they feel in control, they're more likely to engage consistently. Confusion, on the other hand, produces friction, and friction produces abandonment. Now, this is where communication becomes infrastructure, not decoration. Onboarding videos that reduce cognitive load, feature explainers that show rather than tell, visual demonstrations that translate complex data into human meaning, ongoing education content that keeps users oriented as the product evolves. Traditionally, producing this level of content required significant budget and time. For startups especially, that created tension. Ship product fast or explain it well, choose agility or choose polish. AI changes that equation. Not by replacing thoughtful storytelling and not by turning communication into automation, but by compressing the production cycle. Rapid prototyping of visual ideas, faster script-to-screen delivery, efficient iteration when features update, localization without rebuilding assets from scratch. Digital health moves quickly, communication must move with it. The alternative is a widening gap between what the product does and what users believe it does. And that gap is expensive. It shows up in poor activation metrics, in low retention, in churn that feels mysterious but is rarely random. Users do not abandon products they understand and trust. They abandon products that feel opaque. And clarity drives traction. There's also an investor dimension to this. Health tech founders often need to explain intricate mechanisms, predictive models, AI diagnostics, remote monitoring pipelines, to stakeholders who may not share their technical depth. Well-constructed video allows complexity to be visualized cleanly. It demonstrates value rather than merely asserting it. It signals credibility. But credibility in healthcare is fragile. Oversimplify it and you appear unserious. Overclaim and you invite scrutiny. Miscommunicate and you risk regulatory consequences. The balance is delicate. That balance is where disciplined AI-enabled production becomes useful. Human judgment shapes the narrative. Behavioral insight shapes the structure. AI provides speed and scalability. The thinking remains human. The execution becomes more efficient. And this matters particularly as digital health platforms scale internationally. Language variance, cultural nuance, regulatory differences. Without a modular content system, each expansion feels like starting again. With AI-supported workflows, you build once and adapt intelligently. Onboarding sequences evolve alongside product updates. Education libraries grow without collapsing under their own weight. scaling communication becomes sustainable rather than reactive. And perhaps that is the deeper shift. Digital health companies often focus on scaling users, but scaling understanding may be the more important task. Because without understanding, growth is brittle. Traction achieved through marketing pressure alone tends to erode. Traction achieved through clarity tends to endure. When users feel that an app genuinely gets them, that it explains itself honestly, demonstrates its logic transparently, and respects their intelligence, engagement becomes relational rather than transactional. That is difficult to fake. AI is not the story here. The story is alignment. Alignment between product innovation and human comprehension, between speed and credibility, between ambition and responsibility. In a market where hundreds of new apps appear daily, the competitive advantage is rarely louder messaging. It's clearer thinking. And clearer thinking, delivered visually, at the pace innovation now demands, is what turns curiosity into confidence, and confidence into sustained traction. Thanks for listening to this episode of AI Script to Screen. I hope you found the ideas interesting. If you'd like to discuss any AI video or animation projects in healthcare, or any other sector, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks.